The NFL playoffs kick off this weekend. We're predicting the winners of the wild card round today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins, and we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5.
Joe, happy Thursday to you. Hopefully cold, warm enough for you guys to get to school on time this morning and everything. You guys get all that squared away?
No, it's 15 degrees outside. Snow's coming in the morning. The world could end here in the Southeast. Yeah.
Is that 2-hour delay process?
No, there was no 2-hour delay. And I asked my wife, I'm like, what was the difference between today and Monday? And apparently it rained on Sunday night. I was unaware of that. So there was some freezing on the roads. Yeah. Guarantee school's canceled tomorrow. Yeah, we're not doing anything. Yeah.
We get what, an inch of snow?
It looks like maybe 4 or 5, you know?
Oh, that's sizable for down there. The infrastructure's not prepared for that kind of stuff.
No, we don't mess with that. So I guess we'll we don't have snow shovels or snowmobiles, so we'll just stay inside or go in the yard and build a snowman and watch TV, I guess.
Right. All right. Well, let's I don't think is there snow called for any of the games over the weekend?
Is there one being played in Charlotte? I don't think so, right?
Well, I don't know. We got one in Baltimore. We got one in Buffalo. We got one in Philadelphia. Those places could have snow.
No Buffalo, just cold.
Okay. Very good. I figured you'd be on top of the weather report.
Yeah,
in Western New York. The only New York playoff game that's ever happened.
Ever. Yes.
Ever.
Yeah. Only ever. Yeah, exactly.
All right. The Chargers and the Texans. We're going to get into each one of these games independently, kind of deep dive them. Chargers 2.5-point favorites, according to our friends over at FanDuel. In Houston, playing the Texans. This is obviously the 4-5 matchup. The first game that we get 4:30 on Saturday.
Interesting matchup here with a road favorite going into Houston. I'm sure that's on the bulletin board for D'Amico Ryans and company.
Should be.
Yeah, especially for a team that, was in the playoffs last year, the Chargers year one under Harbaugh. I do have concerns about Houston in this game. I certainly like their defense, but I just don't see an efficient offense right now. And when you think about this Charger script, it's very old school. Like, we're not going to beat ourselves. We're going to invite you to beat yourself. We're going to run the ball. We might have an explosive play in the passing game, but we're not going to give it to you. And Houston's a team that will give it to you. I'm nervous about that, especially with some of the players that Houston's not, they're not going to have in the postseason run here.
Right. I think that's the big thing for Houston is, how do you problem solve the team that you were supposed to be versus the team that you are?
Yeah.
Right? And that's the whole thing this time of year, because very rarely do you get sturdy reinforcements that come back through the door mid-December onward, right? And even if you do get players back, that how close to the versions of themselves are they going to be if they're interrupted that late in the stretch run?
Yeah,
right. I think the fascinating matchup for me though, is Houston's defense measures incredibly well in just about every metric. Defensively, it is a very strong defensive unit. They ironically did get some reinforcements back with Christian Harris at linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Aziz Al-Shaair served his 3-game suspension. He's back. So, you do have some middle of the field presence for Houston that's back that they did not have for much of the season, which can help to offset some of the injuries that they have in the secondary.
How about the pass rush duo of Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter against Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt? That's a fun matchup. You talk about good on good. I like I think the Texans are going to have a real advantage with their corners against the Chargers. Obviously, Vlad McConkey, he'll be an issue, but Stingley's not playing at a high level. Kamari Lassiter's had a great rookie season. And I think they will need to be able to run the ball because I'm not sure there's going to be a ton of passing production for the Chargers in this game.
And by the way, Houston ranks 4th in defensive EPA against the run this year. The only defenses that rank better defensive EPA against the run are Philadelphia, Denver, and Buffalo.
It's weird, right?
It's a good defense. And like they could really use like a disruptor in the middle. Heaven forbid they get that. We're in deep trouble as far as if these corners keep playing to the degree that they do and they get healthy at safety with Kalen Bullock playing the way that he is.
Yeah, 5 picks as a rookie.
Yeah, man. And I know we're putting a lot of shine on Houston right now, but that they are the home team. I think from the Chargers side of things, they probably excited that they had a chance to get J.K. Dobbins' feet wet coming back from injury before the playoffs because he was such a great player for them to start the season. I think the big thing that some of these Chargers guys have going for them is a lot of them have kind of had experience tasting this flavor of football before, right? Like Houston won the playoff game last year in the division in the wild card round. They beat Cleveland and they smoked them. And then they played Baltimore and they didn't really do anything on offense, right? Their only touchdown was a return, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, you're right. It was
last year.
Yeah, and then unraveled from there. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think about guys like Khalil Mack, some of their experience. The questions, both the quarterbacks, obviously, both of them have played in 2 playoff games to this point. This is each one of their third one. No, Justin lost his first playoff game, right?
Yeah, Trevor
he's
Lawrence.
one and done.
Trevor Lawrence with the big comeback there. Yeah.
Jeez, so
which quarterback do you think is playing better right now? Because that's
Justin Herbert's playing better.
That's why I'm going to pick the Chargers.
Right.
I just feel like he's playing better, and I think it's the most important thing in these playoffs. I think that there's more. I think Houston deserves more credit than I think they're getting, especially with those reinforcements. But I just think Herbert's playing better, and I'm concerned about the way Stroud's playing this season.
So Herbert's playing better, and Harbaugh has more playoff game experience.
Kind of like that.
That's enough for me to pick the Chargers, but I would not touch this money or this game with real money. I have very little confidence in the outcome. Like, I think this is a rightfully very close spread between these two teams.
Yeah, but it's pretty telling that they're road favorites. That's kind of crazy to me. But
Houston didn't finish well.
Right.
The show likes, with the injuries, the Chargers -2.5 as well. So all that talk we just gave, and the show likes the Chargers as well.
Well, I think we did a good thing by giving Houston a little bit more credit in this game because I feel like most people aren't. So, okay, let's get to break and have a robust segment here coming up. Picking the rest of the AFC slate, folks. Be sure to stick with us. I love going to live events, whether it's sports, music, theater, or comedy. And one of my favorite memories was attending a concert last year. The energy and the excitement were unforgettable. Now, Game Time has made it even easier to get tickets to your favorite events with their new feature, Game Time Picks. The feature filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Recently, I was looking for tickets to an upcoming event, actually a concert, and I used the Game Time app, and with Game Time Picks, I found an amazing deal, and I could even see the view from my seat before purchasing. The super deal was particularly impressive, offering great seats at an unbeatable price. Plus, the app's all-in pricing shows a total cost upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL. That's LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time.
Hey, by the way, did you see Walter Nolan going to the Senior Bowl?
That's good. That's very good. I didn't see that, but that's very good.
Yeah,
He's gonna wreck stuff.
They got he was part of their underclassmen infusion. They got Nick Scorton, Shamar Stewart, Walter Nolan, Mike Green from Marshall, TJ Sanders from South Carolina, Deion Walker, our favorite nose tackle that can rush the passer against college competition, but kind of fool's gold reps, in my opinion, for the NFL evaluation. But they got him.
I haven't watched his 2024 tape. Maybe you
didn't
better.
miss anything. He's a
thing?
worse pass rusher this year than he was last year.
Good. Glad I saw. Did anybody watch the tape before they mocked him in the top 10?
No, just like, are we ever 350 and 7.5 sacks?
Will we ever start watching tape before doing mock drafts?
It's like the Andre Carter from Army thing.
God, dude.
Well, yeah, that's another number one pressure pass rusher.
Right, dude. That's exactly what. It's a great call out.
He had a better pass rush grade by PFF than Aiden Hutchinson did last year at Michigan. It's like, okay, well, I know what my eyeballs tell me.
Yeah, why don't? Yeah, they should have. I mean, it's clear the Lions should have drafted Andre Carter. That'd have been. Maybe they'd have won the Super Bowl.
That was Trent Baalke's first plan. That's why I had to pivot to Trayvon Walker.
Unbelievable.
All right. Pittsburgh and Baltimore, 8:00 Saturday game. Baltimore's favored by 9.5 points. Steelers 4-game losing streak coming into this game. I saw Dan Orlovsky said in this 4-game stretch, Pittsburgh is averaging their average distance to go on third down is 8.5 yards.
That's bad
for 4 games.
That's bad.
Yeah.
No efficiency whatsoever. And Baltimore turned the corner on defense, right?
For a touchdown to check down passer at quarterback to tell them you got to get 9 yards. You got to work the intermediate areas of the field to work some first downs and just move the chains and stay on schedule. We're going to sink, we're going to rally, and we're going to tackle the tight ends and Jaylen Warren 3 yards short of the stick on the checkdowns when we cover the deep stuff, and we're going to force a punt and get off the field. And as you said, Baltimore, since they moved Kyle Hamilton back to just playing safety and they really moved Marcus Williams out of a role there.
Like the best defense in the league.
Turn the corner is an understatement.
Yeah.
Imagine overthinking Kyle Hamilton as a draft prospect too. Speaking of draft prospects.
Well, no, I think that's a good call out, but I thought they were too multiple with their back seven. And I thought that messed them up, and I think they made a good correction there. All that to say, that Pittsburgh's 8-2 in their last 10 against Baltimore.
Yeah, they have had a lot of success in the head-to-head.
Russ Wilson's playing bad, right? Like, he had everyone fooled for a couple of games, and Mike Tomlin's even saying, that's why I'm highly compensated to make these decisions. I'm starting to wonder if Justin Fields might be the better option to win this football game. Dude, you're talking about Lamar Jackson, who's having as good of a season as any player in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
MVP caliber season at home. Pittsburgh's going to need things to go their way to win this football game.
I don't think this is going to be a close game.
I would be surprised if it is.
Baltimore, kind of the nucleus of that team being back. They had some personnel changes, and that happens to every team, but they just kind of feel like a team that's out for some blood after the way that last season ended. And we got away from running the ball, and we wanted to make Lamar the AFC Championship game hero.
Yeah.
And now they're back, and Derrick Henry with the warpath that he's been on. It just really feels like they're humming at the right time. They got themselves playing their best ball at the right time of year. I know that team won a bunch of games and was the 1 seed, right? Last year.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that the defensive turnaround there. Last 9 games, number 1 in the NFL defensive ranking for EPA per play defensively. So that was the big question and where you thought you could get them. And now they have that taken care of as well.
Now you just have to hope they have situational blunders on offense, which they still do.
Yeah.
Which they still do. I remember that that play before half against Cleveland. Was that who they played week 18?
Yeah.
It was a really cool play. Lamar took off and it put him in great position to get a field goal. But anybody in the world that knows a lick of football saw that every single player was moving. They had 3 guys in motion. Like, you got to be set for a second before you can snap the ball. Well, okay, that was a cool play, but it doesn't count because you got to get set. So just stuff like that all the time with this team. That's what you have to hope for. And they do a good job of getting out from behind the sticks. I think we're obviously all picking Baltimore. Again, Pittsburgh needs so much to go their way to win this game.
Yeah. And I think that one of the big things Pittsburgh does have going for them is Zay Flowers getting banged up week 18. But you look at like Pittsburgh offensively, and are they going to score 14 points?
Nah, it'd be tough.
Unless they get like a number of defensive short fields and turnovers and get some points on, like that's the pathway for them.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I'm picking Baltimore as well. The show does like Pittsburgh to cover 9.5 as a large number. I would also not touch that with real money either. And the show had rough final 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Games that start becoming more contextualized and it's not just like the flow of the season is where I think there are some flaws with the roster grading system and converting that into a predictive against the spread.
Right.
Good news is I think we're probably going to be in lockstep on the last AFC game too. You've done a great job in giving the Broncos their flowers this week with your programming, and rightfully so. The offense is playing at a high level. Sean Payton's pushing all the right buttons. But you got a rookie quarterback as good as he's playing, and I thought he was going to turn into a pumpkin week 18. Nope, they romped him.
Yeah.
Going into Buffalo, and I've seen games in Buffalo and big games in Buffalo, so I know how that environment can get. That being a young team, even with Sean Payton, I'm picking Buffalo to win this game, and I think Buffalo will take care of business, and I don't think they'll sweat this one out too much on Sunday at 1 o'clock.
I think when you strip it down to like the elevator pitch of, you have a Denver team that's in the playoffs for the first time in 9 years with a rookie quarterback on the road in Buffalo against a very seasoned playoff team that has an MVP candidate as their quarterback. Like, you look at it like that and you think the Bills should win this game. I do think that there's some matchup issues that Denver presents with their scheme throws, and like their screen game is good. They move the pocket.
Some big guys on the perimeter that can block too.
Yeah, that stuff's not good for the Bills. The Bills are not a very good space defense, if that makes sense. Like they're not very consistent getting off contact and making tackles. I think what helps the Bills is that Denver doesn't necessarily have a very explosive rushing offense. But Denver's been a great pass pro team, and I think it's partly Bo Nix very good with pocket movement. I think they have a good pass blocking offensive line. I think the scheme helps it quite a bit. And the Bills are not a good pass rush team. Denver's a great pass rush team, obviously the best in the league in any metric. But the Bills are very fewest sacks in the NFL, only like 2.6% of pass snaps end in a sack. Josh was sacked like 14 times this year. So you have some good on good here. Denver, great red zone defense. Bills, great red zone offense. A lot of good on good in this matchup. I could get myself concerned, but I'm going back to the elevator pitch. It's a rookie quarterback for a team that hasn't been in the playoffs in 9 years against, as seasoned of a team in the postseason as exists in the league. Bills got to take care of business here.
And what do a lot of folks like to point to for quarterbacks this time of year in how they're able to consistently win? Right? You're going to get the best coaching with the best teams. That means you have to create on your own.
Yeah.
Right? And very few guys do it to the level that Josh does for Buffalo. But on scramble, like just an example, like scrambles, if you look at EPA, both of these teams are in the top 8 offensively for quarterback scramble.
Yeah.
EPA this season, as far as Bo Nix and Josh Allen. The difference is Buffalo is a top 10 defense against quarterback scrambles, and Denver barely cracks the top 20.
That's going to be a problem.
So,
and the Bills crank it up in the postseason with Josh and that stuff. Yeah.
Yep. So I think you'll get more of an advantage with the quarterbacks outside of structure, creating with their legs, And I think in those instances, that can be a big difference maker in this game as well.
All right, we're both in on the Bills. What about the show?
The show likes the Bills to cover the 8.5-point spread at home. So that is the big favorite that the show likes.
All right, I'm excited to go through the NFC with you because I think this is where we might have some disagreements on some of these games. I'm not sure where you're at, but I know where I'm at. We'll talk about it next year, folks. Be sure to stick with us. From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. And the FanDuel app gives you everything you need for live bets, same-game parlays, and so much more. FanDuel has so many different ways for you to pick up a win. I personally love betting on which players will hit the over on stat projections. And if a team will cover the spread, it's thrilling. And not only can you bet on who will win the game, but FanDuel has bets for which players will score a touchdown, how many points each team will score, and so much more. And folks, all the lines we give you today are courtesy of FanDuel. So if you like what you hear, go get in on the action. Visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make the playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
All right. Packers-Eagles, Sunday, 4:30. Actually, I need to check our friends over at Game Time, see what tickets are to this game. It's right up the street for me.
Yeah, you could go see a little playoff action. Have you ever been to a playoff game in the NFL? I don't think I ever have.
Not a playoff game, no.
Yeah, I've never been. I don't think. Yeah, I've never been. Okay, so I'm concerned about the Packers. I think they're not. I don't think they're playing well. Defensively, a lot of injuries, particularly at corner. Christian Watson's down. Yeah, I think they start slow in a lot of these games. And Philly's playing good ball. Like defensively, they've kind of figured out a lot. Jalen Hurts kind of coming back from injuries. I'm a little bit concerned there, but there's so many things that they can lean on offensively. I have a hard time finding the path for the Packers to go on the road and win this game.
I agree, especially considering that they have concerns with matching up with skilled players across the board. Their pass rush in general this year has been an area where a lot of Packers fans have been eager to see some reinforcements.
Not going to get any rush against this team.
No.
Yeah.
So Philly's got the right guys healthy. I think they showcased good restraint in not putting Saquon Barkley out there to rush for Eric Dickerson's yardage and keep him fresh for this game. You add it all up, and I do think Philadelphia has some decided advantages in key spots that are what are generally perceived to be the weakest points of the Packers. And then you mentioned the Christian Watson injury, and that obviously they have a deep wide receiver room, but Watson is a very unique skill set within that is a big gut punch.
For sure, man. I think we see it similarly. I'd be surprised on this one if the Packers win.
Eagles -4.5 according to the show as well. Shows on that. Commanders at Tampa. Washington dodging a bullet. We got done talking about how cold it is up here. They're going down south to play in Tampa, but it's at nighttime, so it won't be too hot. And you're going to sweat them out.
Yeah.
Bucks favored by 3 at home.
I am a little concerned about Tampa in this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Sell me.
Well, I think Marshawn Lattimore has been the best matchup for Mike Evans throughout his career. He's done a very good job there. I don't think that Tampa has the stuff on defense. I don't think their pass rush is good enough. They have injuries all over their secondary. While I think Washington's defense is playing a lot better, I think Washington's a hotter team.
Okay.
Baker can go out there and kind of will it a little bit. I just don't know if he has enough. I'm kind of riding Jaden Daniels in this moment. Like I feel like he's going to be able to hit a lot of that stuff down the field. I think the quarterback run game is going to be a problem for Tampa. And I've seen too much variance from this Tampa team. Todd Bowles concerns me in these types of stages.
Tampa, by the way, since December 1st, 4th in the NFL in pass defense. This is all EPA. 6th in the NFL in rush defense.
Tampa is?
Tampa.
It's pretty surprising.
I'm just throwing it out there because I'm on the Bucs.
Ooh, okay. We can be different on this one.
There's an experience element with Tampa having been in these spots, and the nucleus of a lot of this team still kind of lingering, a part of the Tom Brady runs. I know you and I both have talked about like the defensive infusion of talent over in Washington, and probably another year away of Dan Quinn's guys and guys that fit that scheme to really marry it all together. And I hear what you're saying about Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans, but this team has found a way to really, and nobody's talking about Liam Cohen. You and I have mentioned his name a few times. And Bucs
head coach interviews.
Sure as heck know who he is.
Yeah.
But relative to like some of the darling offensive coaches, what he has done this year has been taking over for Dave Canales has been outstanding.
Wait, didn't he actually get good play out of Will Levis too at Kentucky?
He was the guy at Kentucky that got good play out of Will Levis, and then they left and Will turned it back into a pumpkin.
Well, wherever Liam Cohen goes, give him Will Levis, give him a chance.
By the way, Bucs also 2nd in the NFL in rush EPA on offense since December 1st.
Man, I might be getting silly here.
I'm just throwing all this out there for you.
There's
Irving.
I guess I'm just a little bothered by Tampa and like the way that they played against New Orleans, the way that they looked against Dallas in some of these recent games.
I get you.
It's like they just feel like a letdown team to me.
I'm not buying the letdown. I think we might see a letdown, but I'm not buying on it being the Bucs.
All right. You've convinced me. I came in here ready to pound. Yeah, I came in here ready to pound the table for the Commanders. I'm like, man, this kind of sounds dumb if I do. Get some compelling information.
Just recent sample size trends are all very favorable for Bucs. Also, by the way, 3rd in pass EPA offensively since December 1st.
The number 1 third down offense in the league too.
Glad we could sort this one out.
All right.
Watch, Jaden's going to make us look real dumb on Sunday night.
I'll be the one with regrets there, though,
Yeah, yep, you will. Let's talk last game. We have Vikings at Rams. And this game, first and foremost, sending best wishes to Los Angeles. Some of the stuff coming out of there with the fires is just absolutely horrific. But they do have a contingency for this game to be played in Arizona if the wildfires necessitate it. That is a bit of a variable here to consider as far as home field advantage and travel and disruption of that. It should be the Rams' biggest advantage here is not having to worry about leaving their homes. And then you have this, and then the safety of your community lingering in the back of your mind is a big weight on, I'm sure, a lot of these guys as well. So there's a whole community there that's hurting. We send our thoughts to them, but this is a game that the league has already indicated it's going to happen. It's just a matter of where it's going to happen.
This game happened earlier in the year. The Rams beat the Vikings 30-20, week 8.
Yeah.
The Rams are basically had a bye week last week, and the Vikings went out there and tried to win the 1 seed, and this is kind of where they're at.
And they got beat up a little bit.
They did. And I think once you've kind of seen flow a little bit, and I think the league's kind of catching up a little bit here late in the season, some of the blitz stuff, it's all out there. Stafford's going to be able to handle it.
I'm picking the Rams.
I'm picking the Rams.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be like the big surprise, like upset picking the Rams here.
No, I think this is the Honolulu flu is going to linger here for the Vikings.
Going to bite the Vikes.
I do. I think so.
This show likes Minnesota -1.5. So the show does not agree with us on 2 games. We agree on every game.
Yeah,
I talked into the Bucs.
You did.
We also picked one underdog to win this weekend, which probably will not go well for us.
Right, because you could see Houston
I could see Houston. I could see
surely the Vikings can win.
Yeah, I could see Minnesota, although they're the favorite, so that doesn't do us any good.
Right.
Washington, I think there is an unpredictability of them that they could come out and play really well. And as you said, Tampa hasn't always been ready to play in some of these spots. I'd be surprised if Buffalo lost. I'd be surprised if Baltimore lost. I'd be surprised if Philadelphia lost.
All right, so if we are correct, our divisional round matchups are
this is fun.
Chargers-Chiefs,
Okay.
Chargers. Bills hosting the Ravens. That would be your AFC divisional round.
Yep.
Your NFC divisional round would be Detroit hosts the lowest advancing seed, which in this scenario would be
the Rams. And then you have the Eagles hosting the Bucs.
Because that would be a 2-3 game. Eagles would be a 2-3 game.
Yes. And the Rams are the 4 hosting the 5 is Minnesota. So it'd be Rams going to Detroit.
Rams, Detroit,
Eagles, Stafford Lions rematch from last year in the playoffs.
Oh, brother.
Can we get that?
It'd be a fun divisional round if all that happened. I mean, obviously go Steelers, but
If you're interested in coming up, I can get tickets for under $250 for wild card game against the Packers.
I'm going to be busy there at the 1 o'clock slate. It's something I got to do.
Playing at 1 o'clock. They're playing at 4:30. You could do Locked On Bills from the stadium,
right from the
stands,
the bleachers of what is it called? The link. The link. I've
link.
flown over that a million times. I've never been in there.
I'm just saying we could do it.
How much is a ticket?
I can get tickets and not standing room tickets. That's where they get you. They're like, oh, here's all the best deals for tickets, and they're standing room. There's no seat.
Well, Game Time is the best place to get a ticket, obviously.
Well, I'm on Game Time.
All right.
And all of the recommended lowest price good deals are standing room. I don't want standing room.
Standing room.
Yes. That's when I went for the Sunday night game when Philly wore the Eagle Greens against Miami last year.
You stood?
I bought a ticket. I didn't check, and it was standing room. So I had to stand on the top of the concourse up at the 300 level on the corner there, and it was 45 and windy.
God, that sounds horrible. That sounds
horrible. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. I was happy that Philly went on that 8-minute drive at the end of the game to kill the game. I said, good, I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here.
We take this L and go home.
Warm my hands up in the car. Sit there and hold them on the air vents blowing out hot air. Terrible. We can get seats for 210, end zones, back end zone seats for 210, side 50-yard line seats for about 250. I might go. I could do Baltimore and then turn around and do Philly.
You can go to both, man.
Are you doing both? Maybe. Draft Dudes Tour. I don't know. Let us know if you're going. Let us know all of your hot takes. Joe's going to ask for them on social media, on X.
Good reminder.
Twitter, for your hot takes for Takes on Takes tomorrow, which is our weekly mailbag. So you give your hot takes and we will respond to your hot takes. I'm sure we'll hear from some of you for spiking the ball, for takes that you've had throughout the course of the season now that the season is over. We look forward to hearing from all of you on those as well. That's going to do it for us here on the show. Kyle Crabbs, Joe Marino, appreciate you guys as always. Come back. See us again tomorrow.